Welcome back to Video Game Trivia. This time on Video Game Trivia, we're focusing on one of the most well-known Japanese game companies, Konami. Video Game Trivia is part of the History of Video Games and Video Game Stories series, and we've covered a lot of Konami-related facts in the two previous episodes. So in case you've missed them, I highly recommend checking out the History of Video Games playlist on my YouTube channel, and checking out those two previous episodes. Once again, let's return to Hideo Kojima's stealth game series, Metal Gear. Metal Gear Solid was the game that really turned the series into a household name, and was in many ways considered a groundbreaking title for the Sony PlayStation. It was also the first time that the Metal Gear series included voice acting. However, the voiceovers were done without the approval of the Screen Actors Guild, and as a result, well-known industry names like Cam Clarke and Jennifer Hale were credited under pseudonyms in the original PlayStation version. Most of the actors later reprised their roles for the Twin Snakes remake on the Nintendo GameCube, where they were credited under their proper names. Also notably, Twin Snakes did not feature a Japanese voiceover because Hideo Kojima apparently liked the English voice acting so much. For the longest time, Konami held the game rights to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and of course released 4 major Turtles installments as well as a number of spin-offs. While some of the early titles, particularly Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the NES, received criticism for not featuring many notable Turtles characters, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4: Turtles in Time notably broke this trend, featuring notable characters not only from the cartoon series but also the live-action movies and even some obscure ones like Slash. Back in the late 1980s, when the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game was made, it was published by a mysterious company called Ultra Games. Ultra Games, however, was in fact just a company founded by Konami in order to release more games for the NES. Nintendo had a strict policy which only allowed game publishers to put out 5 games a year. For Konami, this was very inconvenient because starting from the mid-80s onward, they started to put out roughly 10 games a year, which means that they would fill up the 5-game quota very quickly. So in order to circumvent this Nintendo restriction, Ultra Games was formed. And although they released primarily Konami's games, Ultra Games did later publish games developed by other companies as well, before becoming defunct. Konami's early arcade hit Frogger became one of the first video game characters featured in a Saturday morning cartoon, when Hanna-Barbera produced short animated episodes as a part of their anthology series, Saturday Supercade, which featured appearances by other notable video game icons of the day, such as Donkey Kong and Pitfall Harry. And finally, let's talk about the International Superstar Soccer Conspiracy. In the early 1990s, Konami released a very popular soccer game for the Super Nintendo called Chikuo World Soccer, which was released in the West as International Superstar Soccer. Due to the popularity of the series, Konami continued to release more ISS games on Nintendo's platforms. International Superstar Soccer was followed by Chikuo World Soccer 2, or ISS Deluxe, then ISS 64, 98, and 2000 on the Nintendo 64, then bizarrely 2 titles were released for the Nintendo GameCube under the title ISS 2 and ISS 3. Observant soccer fans, however, may have noticed that there was another batch of ISS games that were released for the Sony PlayStation. However, these games were not part of the Chikuo series. They were developed by a different team under Konami's banner, and in Japan they were released under the title Winning Eleven. The first title in the Winning Eleven series was released under the title Goalstorm for the PlayStation, but possibly due to poor sales, they slapped the International Superstar Soccer title onto the next title and called it ISS Pro. It was then followed by ISS Pro 98, then by ISS Pro Evolution, and then ISS Pro Evolution 2. By this time, the Chikuo series had started to wane in popularity, so for the next installment of the Winning Eleven series, International Superstar Soccer was dropped from the title, and Pro Evolution Soccer became the official title for the second Konami Soccer series. It also abandoned its PlayStation exclusivity, becoming a multi-plat soccer series and replacing the original ISS series as Konami's go-to soccer game series. That's all for me for now. I'm Hanno the Honda Mäkinen, see you on the next one!